look, foodie.
Yummy. 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 More?
Gigi, when I say you have to go,
I'm going.
that has to stop. I'm not doing this again. It's not working for me. People will be on and I'm not on.
Buns. Buns.
Let's go.
Buns. Bunny.
Hello, Rose. How are you, my dear?
Buns.
I was just letting a few of the other ladies know I was on. So how are you doing? I hope you're doing well. It's Friday night. And you can ask a question if you want. Hi, Donato. How are you? I hope you're feeling warmer. It's 18 degrees. 18 degrees. So there you go. It's really warm. So, Rose, how is your temperature in New York? That wonderful place. So anyway, guys, it's Friday night. You can ask me a question. It's financial night. So I'm going to be talking about lots of financial stuff. And it will help you. Fully kind of Martin. Friday, oh yeah. So let us see what we get in there. So, oh, you're driving. You shouldn't be driving. You just left your sister's house. I see. I understand that. So look at all those things that you're doing. Hi, Ali. How are you? Friday night, ask a question night. So I hope you guys are coming ready. And I have a financial thing I'm going to do. So if you have something you want to discuss or something you want to talk about, you know, to do with finances, tonight is the night to do that. So I hope you're having a wonderful time and looking forward to tomorrow where you can sit and rest and relax. So I hope you have the time. Hi, Rosie Rose. Financial night, Rosie. If you have, oh, that's the girl. Look what Donato put the money in stars. So, Rosie, any financial questions, you can put it in there. I'll answer them too. But tonight I'm talking about income tax and stuff like that and how to save money, what you should look for, the things that you can do with your credit card. So any questions that you have concerning money, tonight is the night to put it out. Let's get the show going. And here you go. Welcome to the Tessa-Marie show. And I hope all of you guys are looking forward to a fantastic night with lots of things happening. So, financial health, this is my specialty. So, I'm going to talk about our financial health, how we should put this thing together. Because financial health is one of the most important things. That makes you feel good. So, I'm looking forward to that you guys ask some questions and I will answer them. Anything to do with your finances tonight is the night to come knocking and walking through and telling me what you think. If you have a question, if somebody said something to you and you're not sure if it's the right thing they said, fine, I am here tonight to debunk it or to tell you it's okay, take a chance and do it because it's financial health, not wealth, health. So this is where you're going to start on the journey. So let us look at how things are going right now. In Canada and in other places around the world, it's income tax time. In the States, yours was the 15th of April. So you guys are waiting for your nice big fat refund checks. And the stimuluses and money's coming in and all of that money has to be paid back one day. So all of us are going to be looking at how we're going to pay for all the people that got all this money. And it's well deserved because so many people are out of work. But it's those of you who haven't filed your taxes, it's very important, both in Canada and the United States. Some people haven't filed their taxes because they're thinking, well, I haven't been working, I haven't been making any money, so I'm not going to file my taxes. So they changed the date, or they changed the date for you guys. They didn't change the date for us this year. It is April 30th, and that's it. You have till May 3rd to pay them what you owe them. So they didn't change the date. For you guys, they changed the date. But the most important thing you have to remember, if you don't file your taxes, they will not be sending you any kind of stimulus checks because they need your information. So you have to make sure you give them. And that happens in Canada too. We have to file our taxes by the end of April. if we don't file the taxes by the end of April, then, and we happen to have an employer or money went out to us from somewhere, they're going to find us. Maybe not in April, maybe not even until August. And some of the people will find, those are the families that get the help from the government, the children in Canada, they call it children activity amount. And for a single child and a single mom, they get about $800 a month. If you don't have your taxes filed, you will not be receiving the stimulus. You will not be receiving that gift that you get monthly in Canada. And it's funny about this. When I had my children, everybody, no matter how much money you made, who you were, how wealthy you were, you got a check for $18 a month for each child. And today, they have brought it up to over $700. Some families receive almost $2,200, $2,100 a month. Depends on how many children in the family and what is the income. It's based on the income. So the purpose of that, which is quite a little history, is to build up the population. So it was to encourage people to have children so the population can grow. It worked a little bit. In Quebec, you actually got more. In the French province, you got more. But in the other provinces, the government did that to stimulate so that we in turn would have more children and it would help people to raise these families. That was the point of it. So it has gone into something bigger because now daycare is more expensive. Children activities are more expensive. So the government makes sure that you get that type of money. So this money, you can use it to do whatever you want for the children. It might not be activity now, but it could be for education later on. So you have the money. But the most important thing that I'm here tonight to talk about is watching what you're doing with spending money right now. If you're spending money on your credit cards, especially using credit cards, you should take the time to look at the interest. The interest is right on there, and the price, and they have gone up to 29, almost 30%. A long time ago, you could get some interest would be 12, 14% on a credit card. But since the economy has gone this way, in some cases, some companies have raised that. And I'm getting calls that people are telling me, even from the United States, I did not know my interest rate had changed on my credit card. So I need to explain this for you so you understand what happens. So one lady from, where was she? Not Jersey? Yeah, Jersey. She said to me, I watch your stuff on money, but I didn't realize that my credit card interest rate had changed. She said, because in my mind, when they said they're not raising the bank rate, the Fed bank rate, she said, I thought, well, if it drops, my interest card payment interest is going to drop. So I said to her, what did you say? She said it again. So if they drop the rates for the government, that means my interest rate will drop on my credit card. And I said to her, no. No, it doesn't work like that. She said, well, when they drop the rate, who benefits from it? I said, a certain type of mortgage and the bond rates and those things, but certainly not credit cards. So she was quite shocked. So when she opened her credit card, she found she was paying 29%. And she did not like that because she thought in her mind, rates are dropping, my credit card is going lower. So she wasn't too worried. Wasn't trying to make a big effort to pay it because she thought, well, if I don't have to pay, hello everybody, Lisa and Melan for joining. If I don't have to pay it, then it wouldn't be so bad because the rate is dropping to 1%. And I said, you cannot do that. You cannot drop the rates to 1%. Sentence to be, I will invite you a little later on. I have to finish what I started. So if you hang on, I'll give you a chance to come on. You have to tell me though, put some comment in there, what you want to talk to me about. So we're talking about financial stuff tonight. So what you have to remember is that when you hear the bank rates have dropped or the bank rates has gone up, it is not affecting your credit card. The credit card companies have control over what they charge. You are using their money. Remember that part in the Proverbs where it said that the debtor is a slave to the creditor? That's what it means. It's literal. All those hundreds of thousands of years ago when that was written in the Old Testament, it was then. And it hasn't changed. It's still the same. So when you go borrowing, you have to realize you are in charge of that. No, you have to honor the agreement you made when you signed for this credit or you agreed for this credit. So the rate does not change when the bank rate drops. That rate, on the contrary, can go up. And what you have done, you're borrowing money from the bank or the financial company that owns that credit card, and they determine. There is no grace period about, grace amount. That, okay, well, you're nice and you're so good, we'll give it to you at that. That is not how it's done. You have the rate is there, and that's the rate they're going to charge you if you don't pay the full balance at the month, at the end of the month, what you use at the end of the month. And if you know anything about math, that's compound interest. There are two types of way interest is calculated. Compound interest means you're paying interest on the interest on the interest on the interest. It's an agreement. It's a business. They are running a business and they have to make a profit. And they have rules. And you know going in there fully well that they're going to charge you interest on the interest on the interest if you don't pay. So for those of you who don't get this, this is how it goes. So let's say you borrowed $100 and your interest on the $100 is $10. And you did not pay off the full $100. So now you owe them $110. So suppose you pay them $5 because they could tell you to do that. You will find you owe them now $120 because you paid 10, but the interest was on the 110 you borrowed. So instead of it's going down, it's going up. So next month, if you don't make any payment, or even if you make a payment, your interest is on $120. So that $20 interest is they're making money on it too. Besides the 100 you use, the $20 worth of interest is so now you're paying interest on 120, not on 100. And if you don't pay that up, it goes more and more and more, and it just keeps going up. So that is what you have to remember. And these rates are not 12%. It's 29, 28, 27.9. It just keeps going up. So that's what I want you to be aware of. What you pay is something that they will tell you you have to pay a little, but when you pay a little, they're actually charging you a lot. That's what would be your number one investment vehicle. That's the most, that's the most opportunities with the least risk. The only thing, right now there's two, hi Debbie, there are two investment vehicles that is good to invest in right now in this world. Number one is your education, because it's an investment in self and that will pay dividends forever. And it has a lifespan and it will be paid off. So that's okay. And the second one is the biggest investment you would make in your whole life. That is buying a home. The single biggest investment you will make is buying a home. That has the least risk. You have to pay somewhere to live. You might as well invest in a house because you're going to have to live in there for a while. If you can carry it, if you have the ability, you have the amount to pay, honoring the payments, and you're investing some of your money. The down payment is your investment and it will reap benefits. And the thing is that many people think because they have a home, a house, that is their savings. It's not. It's an investment, and the thing about it, the trick that really benefits and make it funny, is not an investment that you will benefit from unless you are able to use it, and this course is too short to explain this to you. But your children will benefit more from your house than you, because you always need to have somewhere to stay. So let's say you own a home and you're old and you cannot manage that house, or you don't want to be in a condo, you want to be in a assisted living. How is the bill over there going to be paid? So your house has to be sold if you don't have the money for that, or if you don't have a pension to pay for the assisted living. But the investment you made 30 years ago might be worth a couple $1 million these days. So that will help you to live a better, more fulfilled life. So yes, the single best investment always to make is to buy a home. Because let's look at the other scenario. You don't buy a home, you rent for 30 years, you start renting after, let's say you've stayed home, you went to university, you graduate 23, 24, and you decide you're going to work, and you're living home, you're going to rent your own place, you have a rent apartment, a room somewhere, and let's see if I can remember to do the math in my head. So let's say it's $1,000. Let's say your rent is $1,000 a month, and you are paying them $12,000 a year, and you're renting for 10 years. So that's $120,000 you paid in rent over 10 years. And today you have decided, I am going to stop renting, I'm going to move, and I don't know where you're going, but you're living, right? 10 years later, you decide you don't want to be here, you're living. Guess what? You're living with the clothes on your back, the shoes on your feet, the wardrobe full of clothes, the furniture, the food in the fridge, and you're going. C'est tout. That's all you're taking with you. C'est tout. Nothing else. On the other hand, let's look at the picture I like. If you invest in a house and you live in it for 10 years and let's say you put $50,000 down or you put 10, let's go with 5%. And you buy a house, let's say for $500,000 and you put 5% down, right? 5% is yours, 5%, so that's $25,000. You stay in that house for 10 years, you pay the mortgage, you're paying the mortgage, you're paying the mortgage, the value is going up in usually 10 to 15% of value a year. So let's just use 10. So every year, that house is going up by $50,000, right? And you did that for 10 years. So you see now where this is going, right? So there you are, another 500. You sold it, and you're going to Timbuktu. You decide, I'm going to travel the world. I'll live on a boat for the rest of my life. So now you're going. You pay the fees. You pay the real estate agent. You pay what you have to pay the lawyers. The other person gets the house, and you match off. And you have, let's say you end up with $800,000. See the difference? The $25,000 you put in, plus the $500,000 that you bought it for, and the $500,000, you pay the tax, and all of that is paid on Ado. Everything is paid. You have to pay that. Whatever they want, you give it to them. But you still have money. Whereas if you are renting, when you leave, you have nothing to show for your 10 years of paying $120,000. Whereas if you buy that house, when you sell it, and let's say you have to sell it, because you can't manage it. And let's just say you die. Then your heirs and successors, gets that property. You leave what they call a legacy. So they tell you the first way to build a legacy is to own a home. That's how you leave a legacy. That's the beginning of your living a legacy. Of course, you can invest in stocks and bonds and also leave a legacy. But for the common, ordinary Joe Blow, that's what we have to do. Purchase a home. The sooner, the better. I have people that come on my live, like Kathleen, you see her. I don't even know, she must have been in her early 20s when she bought. Her brother Patrick comes. Patrick was 25 when he bought his home. And he has a single detached house, and most likely when by the time he's 39, he's going to be paying it off. And that is one of my students. Lisa is here tonight. Lisa has a home. She bought her own home, and she has no debt now except the mortgage to pay. So she will have that paid off before she retires from her job. So the earlier you start, the better it is. I have another young man named Patrick. He started at 23. So, and he's bought a second home, and it's a bigger home now. He has 2 children. So there's a lot of histories like that. Ryan has his own home. So my job, and so does Ryan's cousin, my big thing, the thing that gives me the most passion and satisfaction is take you from debt, take you from renting, and encourage you to own your own home. encourage you to do this. This is what I like. This is what I call a fulfilled life, right? To have a home of your own, have a car of your own, debt-free, and go on an annual vacation every year. And have money saved. You understand that? Buy your home, have a decent car to drive because you need to go back and forth. Debt-free, a nice big savings growing and growing as you're growing, and able to go at least on one annual vacation a year. And that's what that is what I do. That's what I love to do. Those of you who read my book, Controlling the Debt Monster, the young entrepreneur at the back, the last story, it's a true story. All three stories are true. But he ends up having his own business. Here's Lisa. She is now talking there. That's Lisa, the first one. Lisa. She is one of the graduates of my teachings. So this young man in my book, Cuthbert, he owns the barber shop. He owns the building of it. He owns his own home. He rents chairs to other people. And he has a daughter and a wife who works. And he's maybe 38, 39. But he took the course. It wasn't really a course. It was a mentorship. It was hard. I don't joke. I have made people cry. When you don't have the money, I don't think it's necessary for you to spend $25 on one piece of garment that is nobody sees but you. So sometimes I'll say, why? And like the husband that when flat screen TVs came out, they were like $3,000 and he wanted one. And I said, you know, I'm looking at it here. Your income cannot give you that. You want it, find a part-time job. I won't encourage you to take the money and save it. But if you want that flat screen TV at $2,700 plus tax in those days, knock yourself out. So he chose. He went and he got a job. And he came back to me and he said to me, I have the money for the flat screen TV. I said, good, are you going to buy it? He said, no, I'm going to put it on the mortgage. I just looked at him. Because he saw the value of paying down that mortgage sooner. So this is what I specialize in. I take you from where you are and I put you where you want to go. And I mean, there's countless stories. Like these guys that come on the show and they talk and they do this, they're not coming here because they didn't sit at my kitchen table and cry. Kathleen will tell you, my husband used to come to her, do you want tea, dear? Because she would be sobbing. She must have done something. I had a guy who was a big-time football player. And when he used to touch his account, I used to say, what are you doing? I was at the bank at the time. I'd go, what are you doing in here? What did you touch that for? It's not your money. Is it children's school money? Why are you in that account? And he'd go, oh. And you know, but I had to do that. And now, his wife and himself, they send people to me and they speak so highly of the experience they have, but it wasn't easy. And I didn't flinch because I wanted to see you succeed. And I still do that. So if you have debt and it's choking you, I know how to manage it if you have an income. I know how to make you bring it down, but it requires a dedication to success. You have to choose. I am just the vehicle. I am the GPS. Give me the information and I'll take you there. Give me wrong information, you're not going to get there. So that is what I do. I am your financial GPS. So when I come here and I tell you, I know what to do, trust me, I know what to do. I taught myself this. When I came to work and do it on my own, it wasn't $100,000 a job. $263 every week. Or every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks. And I saved $1.75 every week. But I taught myself that. I taught myself to manage my money. I taught myself to cook from scratch. I taught myself to sew my clothes. When I wanted to make it look better, I went to school to make it look like it was professionally done. I taught myself, when I was having my daughter, I created all the clothes I needed for the baby from scratch. I had no choice. I had a bigger plan. So the simple things I could do, I did them. And that is why I can teach you. I'm talking from experience. I have been in those holes. I have been in the trenches. I have known what it is to go to the store and choose what to buy. I have known what it is to go to the store and look at what they're trying to push down my throat and say, no, I don't want that. I didn't come here for that. If I don't have my grocery list, I go back home. I need, because it's like going to war and you left your gun at home. And the enemy is the supermarket. They know you're coming. My husband worked for one of the big supermarket chains. And he said to me, you know what, Tess? When we know what you're going to buy, that's our job. Our job is to follow you. We have people in that supermarket that follow you and watch your trend. We will say we have rice for $2, but we know when you come, you're going to buy all the sweets and all the things we put at the front, the pasta and the this. We know that. So we're going to give you the rice for free. Because we know what? All the other things we was giving 10 cents off, you're going to buy it because you think it's on sale. And many times you don't need it. So I started teaching that to the people I mentored and I coach. I said, no, because it's on sale, it doesn't mean you have to buy it. You buy it because you need it. So this is what financial health is. Putting you in a position that where you're feeling sick about your finances and make you feel strong. Lisa maybe can tell you that. She's on here tonight. I remember you said, Lisa said, you would hang your clothes in the basement to dry them. Yes, I did. We didn't have a dryer when we first got to the house. We had a washer. And we had to go on Queen Street West to buy this washer. We had a stove that didn't have a glass. You couldn't see what was happening when it baked. But it was the best stove and it was made out of steel. And at the oven had a door, a white door, and you couldn't see anything. You had to just hope and pray. But I was good at that. I didn't care. The point is that I wasn't going to give my money away for free. It takes lots of patience and discipline, you think? You think I know what that's like. I used to go to Honested's and shop. And I used to buy the fanciest shoes for $1.99 and $1.99 because as you know, I'm a clothes horse and a shoe horse. So we used to go to Honested's and they would put a black tape inside of the sole of the shoe. And I'm saying, why is that electrical tape there? So one day I lifted it up and I saw, oh, Simpsons. That is one of the top stores in Canada. And I'm saying, so when they come to the end of the line, Honested's buy them in bulk and sells them for 99 cents. I said, oh yeah? So that's where I used to go. And around the corner was a fabric store. I would get the fabric, come home, cut it, and I would sew it until midnight and steam it. And the next day, I looked like a queen going to school. 99-cent shoes and a wonderful made suit. And people would look at it and go, wow. And I go, yeah, wow. If you only knew how long I stayed up to do this. So we shan't be slaves to that. Yeah, we shan't. I know what you're saying. So, you know, it took a lot of patience and a lot of discipline. And absolutely. So when you guys look at it, break the chains of poverty, you have to do something. Don't let people tell you what to do. You changed my life, Lisa said. I was talking to my daughter about this very topic earlier today. Well, yeah, I insisted that you did better. Mortgage burning. Be careful with that. The man that burned the mortgage ended up burning the house. So don't get too excited about that either. You might burn a personal development and a home. Thanks. Yeah. So so that is one of, so you open that door to that. Let me see that question there. Oh. You could change one thing financially in terms of your strategy over the years. Would you change or do what would I change or do differently? If you could change one thing financially in terms of your strategy over the years, would you change or do things differently? No. I tell you why. I have always been a risk taker. I don't know. If I changed what I did, the strategies which I did, I couldn't be standing here today. I never failed. I never failed at something I planned. I always plan. I plan everything. I mentally plan it. Sometimes I write it down. And if my brother once said to me, if I plan to tell somebody to go to, in a handbasket, he said, I swear you planned it for 6 months. I do. So it's very little in my life that is not planned. Only love is not planned. That's the only thing that wasn't planned. But I still knew though. But still, No, I'm sorry. This financial strategy. Oh no, I started saving $1.75. I couldn't save more than that. And I brought $1.75 to $80 by constantly adding a bit to it, 25 cents, 10 cents, whatever was extra, I saved. I had a certain amount we spent for grocery. I had a certain amount for entertainment. I had a certain amount for clothes. And I know, no. I can't, because it wouldn't end up, the story would be different. And I love the story. I love the ending of the story. So no, I wouldn't. So, what age did you buy your first home? 27? I bought my first house at 27. That was how old I was when I bought my first house. 27 years old when I bought the first house. And it was scary. It was frightening. It was scary. This story is really strange because when we got the mortgage, there was no more money in the bank. Everything that was there went for the down payment and the lawyer's fees and the moving cost, which was not moving, is buying pizza and beer for my brothers and our friends and family. So it wasn't much, but the bank manager said, your account has no money, and I know there is no more. So, and we have to close the account if there is no money in the account. But we cannot close the account because the mortgage payment has to come out next month from there. So I'm going to give you $10. And he put $10 to keep the account open. So I went back and I said, you can take your $10. He said, no. He said, you guys intrigue you. He said, you intrigue me so much. And that is my gift to you. He said, I'm planting a seed. I hope one day that seed grows. And I lived to show him, because I went back when I started the business and talked to him about that. So, what's your, Donato, what's your opinion on a home being liability or an asset? Your home being a liability, it's, well, where are you going to stay? Your home is always an asset unless you are. Let me tell you of a couple that I met. I was a manager at the time, and this young man knew them, and they came to him 67 and 69. That's the age. The wife was 67, he was 69. And he knew these customers, and he was qualified to do mortgages. So they came for mortgage, and I guess he was working in them. And then he came to this mountain. He came to their financial situation, although he knew them and he had been doing it stuff for them before. And he came to this mountain. And when he walked into my office, he just pulled the chair and he sat down. He held his hand to his head and he said, I need you. I said, what's going on? He said, you wouldn't believe. And I was new to the branch. I didn't know those customers, but he knew them. And then he said to me, Mr. and Mrs. whatever. And he said, I want to give them a mortgage, but you need to come and see what you can do. Only maybe you can do something with this for me. So I went, I sat in his chair, and I greeted them, and I went, and I took a deep breath. And honestly, I felt it right here. And I go, holy shit, to myself, right? I looked at it, and then I dug, I went, fooling around. They bought this house for $15,000 when they bought it. They are now retired. They have been using that house as a piggy bank for the past 40 years, 45 years of their life. When I call it a piggy bank is, they use their credit cards on their lines of credit. And every time they go over the limit, they come back to the house and to the bank and give the bank the house again and increase the mortgage. So I am sitting looking at it, and I said to the young man, listen, the area where the house is, this existing mortgage that you're increasing is $269,000. I said, that house should be able to carry that mortgage. He said, no, I need $30,000 more. Besides increasing the mortgage, they have about $80,000 in credit card debt. I said, okay. I said, but the houses in that area are going for $500,000. And he said to me, and then the husband said, no, our house cannot go for that. And I'm looking at him and I'm getting goosebumps. I'm saying, why? Like this. He said, because Michael said, well, the house is dilapidated. I said, really? He said, yes. So I said to the man, what is wrong? He said, the kitchen is a disaster. I go, okay. So anyway, so no, we cannot have an inspection. We cannot have the head office, the approval center request an inspection. We're hoping they can give us what they call a drive-by. So we'll say this house is as valuable as the one next door at $500,000, when it's really just worth about $400,000 because it needs repair. So we had to give him the mortgage, which we could carry to 50 to 69, and then give them a loan for the 30,000. And they're 69 and 67. Do you think they're going to come out from under this load, man? No way in hell. Then this is a liability. Because when the house is sold, all they will have when they die or whatever their situation is, I don't know, there's nothing for the heirs and successors. There's no legacy here. So that is what you have to remember. That is no liability. That is a liability for when their children want to inherit. They will find nothing. Or they might have to give money to pay the bank for the money they took when the parents are dead. Liability. But there is no time, if you make your payments, you manage your money, you pay the mortgage, and you don't use your house as a piggy bank. What I mean is, when you say on TV, or you can leverage your house. They love to use words that nobody understands. You just you leverage it. And I'm thinking, oh, you actor, go back to sleep, wherever you were in the hole they found you. So what you notice they're doing, they're putting all these older actors to come and tell you to take a reverse mortgage. And I am doing this reverse mortgage. I would never put you in trouble. Yes, they are. He's getting paid to tell you that. So don't take their words. Do your homework. Ask questions. Your house is a liability when you make it a liability. Your house is an asset if you choose to keep it as an asset. Debt-free, no mortgage. You can use the equity or leverage that house to buy another property and rent that other property and continue to build that way, but slowly, not gobble, gobble, gobble and have 5 different rental places and you're in the middle like a magician trying to put things in place and jiggling and juggling. Don't do that. There's ways to grow from one home to another, an investment property, but you need to get advice and do your homework. Don't trust the real estate agent. Again, do not trust the broker that comes to you. They are not working for you. Nobody that is selling you a home to you is working for you. Even if it's your uncle. The only way I believe they're working for you is if when they get their commission, they give it to you. So you have to do your homework or ask them questions. If you are blessed, there is one woman I know, Nikki. She's in Toronto and she will work for her customers. She actually will work for them. But she still has to make a commission. She cannot undersell the person's property just because she loves you and adore you and she's nice. So you have to realize you need to do your homework. It's a business. There is no charitable organization, neither the bank or the person selling their home. They are selling it to make some money or to do something else with their life. You get a good real estate agent, they will prepare you for that journey because it's a hold my hand journey. And if you get a good banker, they can work in tandem to help you to succeed. But Nikki, I know, helps her people and she helps and takes care of them and make them see what's going on. But you cannot just depend on somebody to do your homework for you. It's like you're telling me, the banks are greedy because they give me another credit card. No, you fool. You took the credit card. You used it. You know you can't pay for it. It's their money. It's their choice. So come on, pay up. So that's what you have to watch. Number 1, investment with least risk. Your house. Explain the rule. No, it's too long. What number advice you would give young people when it comes to finances? Number 1 advice? Okay, I'll answer that one. The number 1 advice I would give people when a young person, when it comes to their finances, I don't believe in saving a certain percentage. I know that is what everybody says, but what I use for people is the try and true system that I know worked. So I would not tell you that you should save 10% of your income. I wouldn't do that, because you must save. But if I tell you you should save 10%, then that's all you're going to do. I have limited you, or somebody out there has limited you. And on the other hand, you might be able to really, truly, if you look at your numbers and you are disciplined, like Donato said, you can save 20%. So now I'm keeping you back by forcing you or telling you 10% is what you should do. That's rubbish. Utter rubbish. The other thing is that this, on the other hand, now, there is this other person who I say to them, you save 10%, but they're not able to save 10%. So then again, I'm frightening them, and in their mind, I cannot save 10, so I'm not going to save anything. So you see what I mean? And that would have been true of our journey, my husband and I. That would have been true of our journey. 10% of my check of $263 every 2 weeks is not $1.75, is it? It's $2.63. So if I had followed that system, I couldn't be here with you tonight. You see what I mean? So your change in how much you should save is based on the income you make, managing your expenses, and making savings the first thing on the top of your list. Now, when I say when you make your list of expenses, savings is at the top, my reason for saying that is your savings is a debt you owe to yourself. You must honor that one. You must honor that savings. That is how you pay yourself first. Put it as number one. It does not have to be $100,000. It does not have to be $20. It must have to be some dollars. But it has to be consistently and regularly done, and the same amount, or increase it as you can. But it must be there. And when things go bad, it goes south, that is not the first thing you stop doing. That is what everybody does. Oh, well, I lost my job, I'm going to stop my saving. Rubbish. Why don't you stop going out to dinner? Why don't you stop having those lattes? Why don't you stop buying every time you turn around, you get paid, you buy a dress and say, I deserve it. Well, you deserve it for what? What did you do? You deserve it? Is that why you want it? Just because you feel you deserve it? No. Earn it. Look at it and say no. Look in the cupboard. Open it. You'll find them there with tags hanging on them. I've seen that. Or you bought a pair of shoes and you don't even know why you bought it. Use that one. So you don't deserve anything. You choose to say that word. So cut back something else. Instead of going to buy the food, empty the freezer. Empty the cupboard, the pantry. Spread everything out on the floor, the counter, the table, and find out how many bags of rice you have in there, how many boxes of pasta, how many chicken packs you have in that frozen freezer before you stop saving money. So this is my big thing. You have to start, and there is no set rule of 10%. Each of the person out there has a different amount they can save. The only thing that is the common for both people or sets of people is that you save. So, let me see. No more questions. Oh, how sad. There's one. There's one. What is it now? Save. Okay. My daughter asked me if she can get a credit card. What are your thoughts on that? Well, giving her a credit card, don't worry. You don't have to give it to her. When she enters college, all the banks will be there. They'll be giving her a $500 credit card. Maybe by now they bring it to $1,000. I don't know. But when I was at the bank, it was $500. They show up, they have their table, they catch them at the university. The bank is proactive. You think they don't know? I had a very wealthy man, and he had all these credit cards. I said, why don't you get rid of this card? It only has a $10,000 limit, not $1,000 limit. He looked at me aghast. No, that's my first credit card ever. I'm not getting rid of it. Like, okay, I understand your emotion, your attachment to this credit card. So this is what I mean. They will get to them because they know that first credit card that they get, they have them for life. The thing is, what you can do is to teach her how to manage this credit card. My daughter Vanessa has never paid, none of my children, 1 penny interest on a credit card. Because I taught them at a very early stage. She got it at university. Then the bank sent her one. They all got it. But I sat them down and I said, you know, this is not your money, right? You get that. You know you're borrowing money from this person and you have to pay them back, whoever they are. But the trick is, only use it on those days, and when you get the bill, pay it off in full. And they have practiced that. So that you teach her how to manage the money. Take one of your own credit card statement. I know that because I taught this to you. And show her the interest rate. Show her if she pays the minimum payment, how long it will take her to pay. Ask her to repeat what you said. Get her to understand it. Show her the 30-day period and show her if she takes a cash advance. The minute you take the money from the machine on a credit card, the clock is ticking. Interest is being calculated. So show that to them. Somebody said the school should teach it. I don't believe that. I think we should take the time and teach our children how to manage money. I did it, and it was only because I didn't want them to end up in the cases I saw, like that couple at the bank. I didn't want that. Okay, so I'm not going to answer the rule of 72. I will do that next week Friday for you, since you have been asking about it, and I'll do that. So let me see what else you guys have to say. I need those glasses, you know. Takes a lot of patience. We did that already. You're a great example because you lived it. Of course I lived it. I wouldn't be talking about it if I didn't live it. The house you're living in now, yes, Donato. I think we had that question last week. Is that refinancing? What I don't know what you mean by that. Lisa, explain yourself further. Thanks for answering my questions. You're welcome. That's a good point. It's very practical. Thanks, Lisa. Did someone say Pastor OMG? No. Yeah, Pastor in the house and you're still buying. Pastor. Tiggy said, oh, wonderful advice. Have to empty my pantry. Thanks for the advice. Yeah, find out what you have in there before you go shopping, guys. Any more questions? That's it. Anybody has anything else they want to say? I answered all the questions. So I got everybody tonight. So anything else? Or is that Friday night? Can I go dance now? Can I boogie? Is that what it is for tonight? So you guys are done with me for tonight. Thank you everybody for coming. If you have any more questions or you have something you want to say, you can ask me now or you can make a statement now. And don't forget, guys, to check out my YouTube channel. And a few of you, I sent a review request on the Tessa-Marie show. Don't forget to answer the questions and tell me if you have an idea of something you want me to discuss or talk about, then mention it. If you have an idea for something, even for the morning blessings that you would like me to bring up, talk about it. So I would really enjoy your feedback because this is how I can make this show more interesting for each of you and to give you an opportunity to participate, to learn, and to share. So I was referring about refinancing. When you mentioned the couple who used the house as a piggy bank, yes, that was refinancing over and over and over. They were not refinancing to buy another property. They were refinancing to pay off credit cards every two. You know what? We used to label them as credit abusers, credit seekers, and credit abusers. Somebody that does that over and over again is considered a credit seeker. They're constantly looking for credit, and they're credit abusers. And it's like going in a circle. They're spiraling into an abyss of debt and never come out of it. So that is what happens. We used to have to be clear in our proposal to the credit department. These are not credit seekers or credit abusers. We have to make it clear. But if they were, no matter what we did, they would see it. If they were credit abusers and seekers, you could see the pattern. So when somebody, we can talk about the consolidation loans or the credit proposals. People who do that, consolidation loans, they do it every 2 years. It's like clockwork. They have it. They use the credit card. They pay. They go. They get a loan to pay it off in two to 3 years. Before the loan is paid off, they come to get another loan, and it just keeps going. So that is a pattern, and you see it. So between 18 months and 20 and 30 months, you can count on them coming back again. So in the bank, we used to call them the cash cows because we can depend on that person coming back to more credit. And that is a credit seeker and a credit abuser. So yes, you have those type of people, and that's what you have to look out for. But if you teach your daughter the right way to manage the card, she'll be fine. So any other question, any other statements? I'm glad you guys came to join me tonight. I hope you had some great feedback, and I hope you enjoyed the show. And I'll see you guys. So don't forget to give me the review on these shows. This is going to enable me to pick up the pace and to raise the bar and to raise my standard, to deliver better, to engage you more. And this is what I want to do. I want you to be part of the show, not just an audience. I want you to participate. I want you to share with me what you hear on the news or what you experience. You can send a note before. You know I have the shows every night. Friday is always about money. Other nights, you can still send me a note. You can DM me, or you can go on there and put a note and say, I heard this today. I know it's not a financial night, but what do you think? So you can do that. Because the more you do this, the more I can give you. I can feed you some information. And that is what I will do. So that's why I'm asking for this review, is so that I raise the standard of the show. I make it more entertaining, more involved. I get you part of it. I don't want you to just come here and sit and absorb. I want you to think. I want you to challenge me. Take your brain and say, okay, that's what you said, but my bank said this, my uncle told me that. So we can have a dialogue, and other people are going to learn from you. So sending you light and joy. It's Tessa-Marie, and I hope you enjoyed the Tessa-Marie show. See you on Monday night. Have fun, take care, and have a great weekend. Don't forget to stop by Sunday at 9:30 with your coffee and your pajamas. And if you're a pasta eating person, you can have your pasta with you. If not, you can have a muffin and coffee. And join us on the Tessa-Marie, Yoko and Tessa-Marie show. Have a wonderful evening, everybody. Take care of yourselves.